Hello, welcome to the stream. This is the 16x AI coding stream, and today we'll be checking out Codex. Let's give it a few more minutes and then we'll start. Alright, for those who are new, we're doing a AI coding stream every Saturday, and we'll test out new AI coding tools like Code, Codex, Klein, other tools, and also the new models. So like the recent Kimi K2, and there's some new Chinese models that we can test. So yeah, today we'll be doing Codex, and this is something I wanted to try for a long time because there are some talks about Cloud Code getting dumber and Codex with GPT-5 getting better, so I want to try this out myself. Yeah, so basically that's the purpose of today's stream, is to try out Codex. And I happen to found a way to extract the system prompt for Codex, so we'll also take a look at that. I think we'll do that first. Yeah, so let's get started let's get the stream started. So first off, I'll be introducing my setup. So I'm gonna use Codex inside Cursor. As you can see here, I'm using Cursor, and this is my project. I have the Codex set up on the left side of Cursor as a extension. I also have the Codex CLI that is set up just to check that I have the agent file working and everything else is working fine. I'm actually connected to Codex via API instead of ChatGPT subscription. So because I only use cloud now, so I don't have a ChatGPT subscription, I'm trying this out via API, which shouldn't affect anything. In terms of the setup, yes, I'm gonna use the GPT-5 model, and I think I'm gonna try medium and high. Probably go with high because that seems to be the best version of GPT-5, even though it's a bit slower. So I'm gonna use the high reasoning effort for all my testing. And then yes, I'll also be using a tool called WhisperFlow to help me type. So yeah, you will see me talking to myself for typing out. That's using the WhisperFlow. So that's basically the setup we have. I think the interesting thing is how Codex works, and I happen to have the system prompt extracted out from Codex. So let's take a look at how Codex works first. So the reason why I was able to get the Codex system prompt is because I'm running it via API, and interestingly enough, everything is logged inside the OpenAI platform console or dashboard, so I can see all my API requests issued by Codex. So yeah, so basically if I open up one of these logs, I can actually see the full input and output of the model, and also some summary of the reasoning as well. So this is how I was able to extract out the system prompt. So let's take a look at the system prompt and understand how it works. So we have some basic introduction. Okay, so We receive user prompt. Okay, communicate with user by streaming thinking. Okay. Emit function calls to run terminal commands and apply patches. Okay, so pretty standard stuff for an agent. Okay, so depending on how specific run is configured, you can request that function call be escalated to the user for approval. Okay, so the approval process is kind of inside system prompt. Yeah, so obviously because of OpenAI's bad naming conventions, it has to tell the model this is a agentic coding interface, not the language model. That's pretty funny. Okay, so let's see the actual system prompt, how you work, personality. Okay, so we have some interesting personality going on here. It's like OpenAI cares about model's personality now. This is something that Cloud does quite well. I don't know how OpenAI is doing on this front, so let's see. Your default personality and tone is concise, direct, and friendly. Okay. You communicate effectively as always keeping the user clearly informed about the ongoing actions. Okay. Prioritize action insights, like consumption. Okay. Seems like not like a personality, but more like a how do you respond. Preamble messages. Okay. I think this is quite technical. Okay, so it's trying to. Okay, so it's kind of telling the model how to communicate with the user by just giving some preamble, like what it's gonna do. Okay, that's interesting. It's like more interactive, I guess. Like feels more like a human. Okay, cool. I wrap my head around the repo. Okay, let's see if it does that. This will be a cool personality to have. We have the planning to update plan. Okay, so I guess this is quite similar to Cloud Code. Cloud Code also have a to do too. Okay, so it's also calling the setup as harness. This is something that the AI coding companies call it. I don't like this term. It feels very old-fashioned. It's basically like a scaffold or a tooling around the model to make it agentic. Yeah, I don't really like this term, but a lot of people use the term harness, and OpenAI use that as well. Interesting. Let's see if there's anything interesting here. The case, if this is the case, mark. Okay. Okay, so this is sometimes you need to change the plan in the middle of a task. This is something that Devin does. I don't think Cloud Code does this very often. I think Cloud Code also does this, but to a lesser extent. Devin is more dynamic in terms of updating the plan. So let's see if Codex also does that. Okay, so Codex has the ability to either use a plan or skip a plan. Okay, that makes sense. So all these are inside the system prompt. Planning steps are called steps. Okay, but really like to-dos. Okay. Okay, so it's like skipping, explore code base or implement changes as part of the plan. Okay, this is interesting because Cloud Code does consider exploring the code base as part of the plan. I think so. Yeah, I think so. Cloud Code does that. I think this is mainly to mitigate the fact that GPT-5 is very precise and very kind of like autistic in a sense. It will just follow your instructions religiously, so it might be a way to counter that. It may be the case that you complete all steps after a single pass. Okay. Yeah, this is basically similar to Cloud Code. High quality plans. Okay, so I guess these are like few short prompting techniques by giving examples. So I think this is a good. Oh, okay. So in addition to positive examples, there's also negative examples. Interesting. So these are like very generic, like without any details, make the styles look good. Okay. I don't know if the negative examples work. My guess is that it's not very effective based on my experience with the previous models like GPT-4, Sonnet 3.5, Gemini, and all those previous models I tested. Usually the model does not pick up negative examples very well. In fact, it might confuse the model and make the model think these are good examples. So that's my personal observation. I don't know why OpenAI put this in. Maybe they have done some testing, and maybe GPT-5 does better with negative examples. Yeah, then I will have to update my blog post. I actually have a blog post on the on the negative examples. I wrote this blog post to discuss why negative examples doesn't work well. So, but apparently, looking at the Codex system prompt, I guess the negative examples work in system prompt because it's like a more authoritative source. So yeah, I think this is a good example of where you want to put the negative examples. As execution, you are a coding agent. Please keep going until the query is resolved. Okay, do not guess. Okay, so this is again a negative instruction here. Interesting. Okay, on the repo, even if they are proprietary. Okay. Okay, analyzing code vulnerability is allowed. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. So maybe the model by default does not do that. So kind of need to be nudged to do that. Only use apply patch 2 to edit files. Never try apply patch or apply patch. Only apply patch. Okay, this is very interesting. This is very interesting. So if they have to use such a strong message to get the model to apply patch, like never, and giving explicit examples, this means that the model is actually pretty bad at tool calling. Yeah, this suggests that GPT-5 is actually pretty bad at using tools. Otherwise, you wouldn't need to write this kind of instructions, right? Because this should be very clear to the model that it's underscore apply patch. The model wouldn't try to do this unless you have you have cases where the model fails, right? Then you would add this kind of prompt to the system prompt. Okay, so this is interesting. Fix the root cause, avoid necessary complexity. Okay, so these are just generic examples. Do not git commit. Okay. Do not add inline comment. Okay. Do not use one-line variables. Okay, so these are some things that I think models, like people complain about. Like people complain about Cloud Code or GPT using like one-letter variables, complain about inline comments. So these are explicitly provided as negative instructions to the model. Some of this is never, some of it is do not. So I wonder if there's a difference or it's just different people adding it. It looks like it went through several iterations. So you have never, do not, and then never. So obviously these are added like at different times. Never output inline citation. Okay. The CLI is not able to read this, so this will just broke the UI. Okay. This must be okay, so this must be some kind of syntax that was used in the post-training process to kind of guide the agentic capabilities, but the model learned this, but then because of some reason the CLI doesn't render this properly, so they have to get rid of this via system prompt. Okay. Sandboxing and approval. Okay, so this is just explaining to the model what is the sandboxing. Okay. Oh, it's very, very long. Ambition versus precision. Okay, that's interesting. Ah, okay, so this is explicitly telling it like steering the model towards more ambitious side. When it's a new project, it's more ambitious, and then for an existing code base, it's more precise and exactly what user is asking. This is an interesting approach. So it's trying to steer the model to differentiate between a new project and an existing project and steer the behavior differently for different cases. This is quite interesting. I'm surprised this system prompt is so long, and they try to like give it a lot of guide. Sharing progress update. Okay. Presenting your work and final message. Okay. I guess these are pretty similar to Cloud Code. Final answer structure. Bullet. Monospace. File reference. Very long. Structure. Don't. Okay, so there's a section specifically on don't. To guideline. Okay, this is actually very long. Oh, wait a second. Why is the to guideline inside system prompt? This should be a separate section, I think. Usually, like to just to describe the tools. Yeah, based on my understanding, this should be a separate section to describe tools, not part of the system prompt. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so I guess it only has really like two tools: apply patch and update plan. Okay. Okay, cool. I guess this system prompt must have been iterated for many times before it lands here, so I can see a lot of a lot of signs that this system prompt has gone through a lot of changes, right? It's not 100% consistent in terms of wording, and like the organization is a little bit weird. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's the system prompt for Codex, and if you're wondering how you can get this, it's actually pretty easy. So to get the system prompt, you just need to run Codex via API instead of ChatGPT, and then you log into your OpenAI dashboard. You can find your logs here, and then you switch to responses, and then you can see all the Codex calls here. And then you can just go inside, and each one of them will have the complete system prompt for you to check. So that's pretty funny. Yeah, so that's the system prompt. Some interesting stuff there. I might be writing a blog post on that. So yeah, so let's see. Let's talk about our project. So we'll be continuing working on our YouTube thumbnail maker project. This is something that we built very long time ago. Not very long time ago, a few weeks ago. So basically if you look at my channel, all the thumbnails that I use are generated by this tool. So it's kind of like very useful for myself. This is the tool that is live, so you can see this is the exact thumbnail that I use for this live stream, and I generated using this tool. So we have elements, shapes, arrows, colors, and then we can extract a human out of a picture. So that's something that's very interesting. Yeah, so that's the project. It's written in HTML and some basic JavaScript using HTML canvas. That's the technical setup for this project. In total, I think it's about 4,000 lines of code, mostly JavaScript, so 3,000 lines of JavaScript. Pretty small, but still interesting project to have. Very useful for myself and for people who are working on YouTube. So yeah, so feel free to use this app, and today we'll be adding some new features to it. I've already run it locally on 8,000, so yeah, that's the project we'll be working on, and I have some tasks that are planned for today. So yeah, let's go ahead and try this task with Codex and see how well Codex does. Okay, so the first task is to add support for SVG files. Yeah, so this is something I wanted to have. So basically, if I add an image here, let's say I have a SVG file. Where's my SVG? Yeah, so I have a DeepSeek SVG file, and it's not allowing me to add it. So I think there's some additional work for SVG support. Yeah, that's what I'll be trying to add as a first feature. Yeah, I think I'm not sure how difficult this task is. Maybe it's not possible, maybe it's very easy, I don't know. So let's try out and see if Codex can do this. I'm gonna use Codex inside cursor with agent mode, high reasoning effort. Let me try to write the prompt for this task 1. I guess this is good enough, right? Yeah, I guess this is good enough, so we don't need to write a separate prompt. Maybe it's not very clear, so I will expect the model to ask some clarifying questions. Okay, so I think this is all we need. Let's try. Okay, so these are all thinking steps. Explore file, read canvas manager. Oh yeah, by the way, I have the agents.md file here, so this is basically the same as the cloud.md. Yeah, so the model has access to like the rules and everything, the similar as cloud code. You can see here it's detected. Okay, so this is very nice. So first impressions, right? I like this UX quite a bit. It looks cleaner. It looks more elegant than Cursor's user experience. Like surprisingly, it looks better than Cursor's user experience. Like if you compare this on the left, Codex, and on the right, Cursor, I think Codex UI just looks more polished. Weirdly enough, I would expect cursor to be better. Definitely both are better than clean. So if you look at my video on clean, and rule code, you can see those two are really bad. So I have all of them. If I open up clean and then some tasks, you can see actually it's quite ugly, right? Like a lot of like very verbose and a lot of unnecessary elements, and it's not very clean. But if I look at the codex, it's very clean. So each step you can hide and open, and then there's nice lines and circles and nice icons. So I really like this user experience. It looks very polished, as you would expect from a maker of ChatGPT, I guess. So let's see. So it's already doing implementation. Okay, let's see what's the approach it's taking, right? I'm not sure how it's doing, how it's gonna support SVG. So okay. Okay, so I think these are not very useful. Like I don't really understand what it's trying to do to support SVG. Obviously, I don't know enough about SVG itself to understand what's the best way. So I'm just kind of trusting the model to do its thing. If I click on one of these edits, can I see the diff? Oh yes, I can see the diff. Okay, that's interesting. So if I click on view changes, okay, so it's like a separate tab to just view the changes. Okay, this is nice. This looks quite similar to the version control panel. I guess this will be quite similar to this, right? Not much difference. So might as well look at this. Let's see. Add image, natural width, height. Okay, so this doesn't tell us much. But basically handling height and width. Valid types. Okay. If it's SVG. Okay, so let's see how it handles SVG files, right? If it's SVG, will base64 encode the SVG file. Okay. Also, maybe the canvas element already support SVG, so that could be okay. So if canvas does support SVG by default, then this would be a easy task. I don't know that, so let me just check. Okay, so Path2D constructor is supported. Looks like it's already supported, so yeah. Yeah, looks like it's already supported, so this should be a quite easy task for the model to do. Just need to handle some edge cases like person segmentation and other things. I don't think we need that, but want me to also parse SVG viewbox for more precise intrinsic sizing? I'm not sure. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this summary is quite comprehensive. Nice, I like this summary. It's very comprehensive, and assuming there's no hallucination, this is a very good summary for me to understand what the model did. I think, yeah, this might be better than Cloud Code. Yeah, I like this organization, what I changed, how to use, nodes and limitations, and files touch. Okay, this is a very good summary, I must say. Let me check the logs to see if I have the system prompt, so I can actually check the log to see if this is something that was given to the model. Okay, so headers short. Section headers should only be used when genuinely improves scannability. Avoid fragmenting the answer. Okay. Monospace file reference. Okay, so it's giving some examples on how to reference files. Okay, so it's not explicitly structured, but there are a lot of kind of guide on how to write this final answer well inside the Codex system prompt. I think this is the reason why this summary is so good. So let me just read through this to understand. Accept SVG, okay. Image element sizing, natural height, okay. Add image sizing, add image with natural height, okay. Robust export, and okay, so export will rasterize the SVG, okay. I don't know if that's gonna work, but let's try it. We'll try it out. How to use notes on limitation, external reference, okay. Interesting. Intrinsic size. If SVG lacks width height and the view box resolved to default size, your browser may report a default. It still works, but you need to resize manually. Okay. Okay, so let's try a few SVG and see if it actually works. So I'm quite curious. Let me add the SVG I have. I have this DeepSeek logo in SVG. So let's try this. Okay, that's weird. Let me refresh. Why does it still not allow me to upload? Okay, now allows me to upload. Okay, looks pretty nice. This is the 300 times 150 thing that it warned me about. Yeah, but it works, right? So this is the SVG file, and it works. And there's also alpha working, right? So the alpha is working. I can put this on top of the human. I can send it back. It should appear. Oh wait, why there are two humans? Okay, never mind. It can appear behind the human. Nice. So looks like the layering also works. Like if I put this to the front, it will appear above the text. And if I put this text to the back, so this would, and then put this to the front. Yeah, so you can see the shape is kind of between two texts, so it gives like a 3D effect, which is pretty nice. So yeah, so this SVG was a success. I managed to upload SVG, and opacity works. Contrast, I don't think that does anything, but it definitely still works. Just gonna make this 100. Okay, I'm not gonna touch everything else. Let's try the rotation. Okay, rotation also works. Okay, everything works. That's pretty nice. Yeah. So the first feature is a resounding success. Nice. So we'll say this one is a success. Yes, the string plan has been updated. Success. Yeah, so far so good. I'm liking the Codex. Let's check how much usage did we use, right? So I have the log here. So if I go to the usage, oh wow, I actually have the free plan from OpenAI, but somehow I'm incurring cost today. That's weird. I shouldn't incur any cost. So I have to investigate that. So basically I have the free API calls, but I think I've used too much today, so it's actually charging me. Okay, that's 2 million input tokens. That's a lot. That's a lot of tokens. So for one task, that's a lot of tokens. 2 million. So this is not cheap. And if you're on ChatGPT plan using GPT-5 High, I think OpenAI is probably subsidizing the cost a lot. So for this task, it already consumed 2 million tokens, 2 million input tokens. Yeah, that's a lot of usage. Okay, if I break down by hour, then I can see more precise. Okay, so if I break down by hour, wait, this is 1 hour. What if I want multiple hours? I don't really understand what this graph is, but oh yeah, it is. Sorry. Oh yeah, it's actually 1 million tokens, not 2 million. Yeah. Okay, 1 million tokens. Can you tell me what is CLI? CLI is command line interface. So basically, anything you type here is CLI, and anything inside the user interface is GUI, right? So that's the difference. Okay, so that's 1 million tokens for this task, and I'm very happy with the output. So let's commit. Support SVG upload. Oh yeah, there's one last thing I need to try is the persistence. So if I download this, I export this project, I refresh, I delete this, and then I import the project back. I should get back this. Yes. Okay, so it works. The persistence actually works. Yeah, so that's the task 1 fully done. Let's try the second task. Oh, terminal GPT. Terminal GPT. Yeah, you can use a Codex inside terminal, but I'm using it inside a cursor because I think it's just I think it should be better if you use it inside cursor. Like it has all the access to IDE features. So I'm not using it inside CLI. I'm just using it inside cursor. Let's see, the second task is to add the outline to the image. Yeah, so this is the task that I tried last week with Codex, with Cloud Code, and it didn't go very well. So if I go back to my coding test, so I think I did it in this particular video, and it didn't work. So I'm gonna try it again with Codex and see if it works. So this is gonna be kind of comparing with Cloud Code, and basically Cloud Code didn't manage to get this working like 100%. So I'm gonna see if Codex can do this task, right? Actually, I think I have the prompt for this task. Let me see, where is the prompt? Okay, I think it should be somewhere here. No. Oh yeah, this is the prompt. Okay. So yeah, I think I accidentally removed the prompt. So this is gonna be the prompt that I use for task 2. So basically we'll ask the model to add a feature to allow the user to add an outline or border to images. They should work for regular image and image of people who have been segmented out by the human segmentation feature. So this means for this kind of photos, and also for this kind of photos. Ideally for this as well, but I'm not sure how it's gonna work. For images with humans, the outline should be added around the person instead of the whole image. Yeah. So I think this is a pretty clear prompt. So let's try it out. Okay, so I have a new task, hi, and then run this. This is gonna be quite expensive, so yeah, let's try. Right. Okay, so it looks like the model's speed is actually quite fast, right? It's kind of executing things very, very fast. It feels like a little bit faster than Cloud Code. And if you look at the logs, we should be able to see that it's sending a lot of logs, right? Like crazy amount of logs. Yeah, so this is 1040. Like in last minute, it's already sent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then for each of this message, it's gonna include the entire previous input. So yeah, it's gonna be very costly for a high reasoning effort model. Anyway, just for the science, let's try it out. If it's proved to be very expensive, I'm probably gonna need to subscribe to ChatGPT again to use this. Implementing morphological outline. Wow, I don't think I've heard of this term. What the hell is morphological outline? Is this what it actually should be called? Yeah, maybe that's the correct term, right? Morphological outline. Huh? I don't okay, I don't know if this is the correct term, but okay, so it's thinking very hard and implementing it. Draw a tinted silhouette. Okay, so it's trying to use the same technique that previously I think Sonic was using. I think Sonic used the same technique, but only completed half. High DPI, okay. Simplifying drawing process. Wow, this is kind of thinking very hard, right? Yeah, I think this is gonna be quite expensive, but just for the science. And yeah, anyway, I only plan for 1 hour for today's stream, so if we cannot finish, then I'll leave the rest of the task to the next stream, so that this stream doesn't get too long. I think people are complaining the streams are too long, so yeah, just gonna get like a first impression for Codex, and then we can try out in depth in another stream. Yeah, so far I think I like the way it's implemented. It looks very polished. Maybe a little bit lacking on the details. Like, I wish it would communicate back to me what it's doing. I think it's actually even inside the system prompt, right? but it's not doing that. Only like very rarely it says something like this. Most of the time it's just spent thinking and thinking and thinking without talking back to the user. Okay, final message preparation. Nice. Okay, so it's kind of collapsing all the intermediate steps and just give me a summary. Outline, add a crisp configurable outline, hugs the transparency of selected image. Okay, sounds good. Transparent background, only the alpha. Okay. Okay, so looks like makes sense. The code also looks to be reasonable. Yeah, but let's try it out. Okay. Oh wow. Well, why does this person already have a outline? I didn't even add it. I guess it previously had an outline. Yeah, must be. Oh, that's weird. I don't remember. Oh, but anyway, it works, right? Like it's already working. Like that's crazy. So let me delete that and re-extract the person. Okay, so this is gonna be a new person, and I'm gonna add an outline. Yes, actually works. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. It works. And I can change the color. Wait. Oh yeah, there's some bugs here. So I guess I have to click here. Yes. Yep. So the outline also works. Nice. I think it should also work here, obviously. If I just change the color. Yes, it works for this as well. Let's see if it works for SVG image. Ah, it works for SVG. Okay, that's pretty nice. So we have the whale with the outline. That's pretty interesting. So I'm gonna need to add like a quick color for outline colors. Yeah, I need a quick color for outline colors. Yeah. Okay, so the outline obviously works. This is the success. I can't remember if Cloud Code got it right, but basically I think Codex is very impressive. I'm very impressed that this actually works on the first try with just one prompt. That's crazy. I didn't think Codex would be this good. Oh my god. What I've been missing out on the Codex with GPT-5 High. I've been wasting my time with Cloud Code. Crazy. Okay, that's actually crazy. It's actually so good. Yeah, I gotta like take a wow face here. Like, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, maybe I'll do it later after the stream, but I'm very impressed with this. So this actually works. Let me commit this. Image outline. I think it's the correct term was morphological outline. Yeah, morphological outline. I wish I can copy this text, but I can't, so I'm gonna copy here. I didn't even know what this is, what it's called, but apparently GPT-5 knows. So yeah, this is a very good run so far. We completed 2 tasks, both tasks in one shot. Let's see the third task, right? Improve the cropping feature. So yeah, so this is kind of self-explanatory. Basically when we crop a photo like this, let me remove the outline first. If we crop this photo, we actually need to enter these numbers to crop it, which is not very intuitive. So we want to make it more intuitive to crop a photo. Yeah, that's the plan. Instead of editing numbers inside input, oh yeah, this we're already getting into the prompt, so let's just copy this and then write the prompt here. Improve the cropping feature. Yeah, we're not gonna use whisper flow because it's quite short. Allow user to directly manipulate the crop area instead of editing numbers inside the input. Okay, so yeah, I think this is a good prompt. So let's try this out. Codex, new task. Okay, so looks like we don't need to point it to anything. It will just magically work. So let's try this out. Okay, so while that is running, let me also check how much it's cost me. it's gonna be quite expensive, I think. Right, 1 hour. Throw this here. UTC, this is UTC, so I need to plus 10. Plus 10 is 19. Wait, this is yesterday. This is not today, this is yesterday. I'm getting very confused now. Like, how do I see today's usage? Okay, so yeah, I think this graph is a little bit bugged. I can't see the usage for today. It just shows up to September 5th. Yeah, somehow it's bugged. Okay, now we can see this. Now we can see. So 2,700,000. So it's about 1 million token again for the second task. And how much would that cost me? Uh, 80 cents. Okay, reasonable. 80 cents. Let's see the crop feature. Okay, I guess the correct way to use Codex is to ignore this reasoning steps because it's very long. And just wait for the entire task to be completed. Yeah, it looks like this to-do list is not very accurate, right? It's already implementing crop overlay and handle, but this to-do list is still stuck on step 1. So apparently this to-do list doesn't really work. It's just like something they tried and it didn't work. only Cloud Code was able to get this working. I think Devin was the one that got this working. Okay, so I also don't like this diff because it's kind of laggy and looks a little bit weird. This background color is gray, so kind of blends into the background. It doesn't look as polished as the rest of the UI. But so far, I think out of the 2 tasks, I'm very impressed. I think it's at least on par with Cloud Code, if not better. I think Cloud Code failed that task, if I remember correctly. So let me check my previous stream if Cloud Code failed the task. Oh, not this one. I think outline, right? Oh yeah, I think for the outline, yeah, sorry, I made a mistake. So I actually didn't test the Cloud Code. I only tested the Quentry Coder and Sonic. I tested both Quentry Coder and Sonic inside Klein, and I think Sonic gave a reasonable implementation, but it didn't completely work, so it's kind of like a workaround. So Sonic used a workaround that just rendered 2 steps, right? It rendered the silhouette, and then I have to kind of do some editing myself to make it work. But I didn't try Cloud Code, unfortunately. So I don't know if Cloud Code would have gotten this right. Yeah. So it's not a direct comparison with Cloud Code, but still I'm quite impressed. Shift drag to log aspect ratio. Okay, so it looks like it's already completed. Everything looks fine. So let's just try this out. Let's see, crop. Okay, so now we see these green handles. Okay, so it's kind of, wait, I don't expect this user experience, so it's kind of keeping the width the same while scaling up the image. That's a little bit weird. It's kind of like making the image larger. Oh, the vertical one works, but the horizontal one just scales the image. So yeah, that's not a very good implementation, isn't it? I mean, it definitely works, but it's not a very intuitive way to crop the image. So let's try to correct this. The cropping works, but when I crop horizontally, it keeps the original image width while scaling up the image to become larger. I don't want the image to be scaled. Okay, so I think this is a good prompt to correct the mistake. This one is like less good. This is kind of weird implementation, right? Yeah, so the user one display size remain consistent with the original, adjusting the destination width to match. Yeah, so that's definitely what I want. I think it understood. Um, I think it understood the feedback. I'm surprised it decided to do the zoom in effect. This is not very intuitive, right? This is not what you expect when you try to crop an image. Yeah, it's a very weird implementation. Okay, maybe it's because of this crop area, possibly. Okay, so I hope that this can fix the issue. A little bit surprised. It could be due to the existing cropping logic, but yeah, I guess that kind of is also due to me not specifying exactly what I want, right? It's like this not very specific, so it kind of go with whatever it wants to do. I feel like intuitively as a person you wouldn't want that, so it's kind of hard, quite bad at guessing the requirement, right? Like what a reasonable person would do. So that definitely failed. Reserve the display scale by resizing the elements display along with crop. I feel like it's kind of going down the wrong path. Why do you need to care about the scale? You shouldn't change the scale at all, right? A little bit weird. Okay, so now it works. Wait, why is it? Okay, so it hasn't exited crop mode. This is the crop mode. I can still see the image being scaled a little bit. Like I can still see it shifting. So this is not the. Oh wait, if I press cancel, it also. Wait, what? Oh, okay. So it preserves the original image. Huh. It's definitely still weird. Okay, so let's give it one last try. This sort of works, but I can still see the image being scaled, possibly due to floating point calculations. You should just not change the scale at all, just deal with the dimensions directly instead of changing the scale. Yeah, I think this should work. Not sure why this takes 3 prompts. I feel like it should be able to do it within 1 prompt. Not sure why. Kind of a little bit let down for the third task. Need 3 prompts. Hmm, 3 prompts. Okay, so the scaling constant scale using original space. Why does it need to kind of do this multiple times? That's x and y coordinates. My min update in the Codex. It's spending a lot of time trying to decipher what I mean. Okay, use temporary crop values. Okay, overlay the crop rectangle. This way the image doesn't. Okay, that's a lot of tokens. I think I'm burning a lot of tokens here. So now we're at 80 cents. If I refresh, okay, $1.13. That's about 30 cents for that. Okay, still reasonable, right? It's just $1. I mean, I had the free credits, so I don't know how much is the actual cost. So some of it is covered by my free credits. I'm not sure how much. Yeah. Also, let me check the logs, right? So because this is a very long conversation, so each input is gonna increase the cost. I want to see how long is the current input. Probably 100k tokens already, I think. Let me check. Oh, only 62k. Okay, let me check the previous one. 61k. 55k. Okay, so it's not as bad as I imagined. It's not like 100k, only 50k. Okay. I can't see any stats here. There's no stats here on the number of tokens or anything like that. So I guess that's okay. You don't really need to know those anyway. Yeah, I think this is kind of slower or like took longer than I expected. I would imagine this would be easier task than the previous two tasks, but somehow this is the one that it has trouble with. Okay, it starts the sentence with thanks. Okay, so let's see if it actually fixed the problem. Oops. Okay, so let's try this one. Wait. The image is gone. I think it's because of some previous leftover stuff. So let me try to insert again. Which one was I using? I think this one, yes. This one, okay. Okay, let's try crop image. What? It's just gone. Okay, that's not good. That's not good. The image just disappears when I start to drag the crop handlers. There are some non-errors. Okay, so this is already taking 4 prompts. That's a not a very good sign. Just as I thought, things are turning out well. Now we get this weird situation. Yeah, this is weird. I don't expect it to make this kind of mistakes, but somehow it's making this kind of mistakes. So let me try to add another image. Yeah, it still disappears, right? It still disappears. I don't know why, but yeah, definitely a bug. Looks like it's having trouble trying to find out why this error happens. Unfortunately, I also don't know. I've been completely like offhand for this task, so I don't know what is the actual problem. Okay, so it's already editing files, but it's not telling me why this bug happened, right? So that's a bit weird. Like, I don't really understand why this bug is happening, but it seems to be already doing something. It's using RG to search. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Found the culprit. During drag and drop, I referenced fixed scale. I didn't store them at markdown, left them undefined. Okay. Okay, so let's see if that's the actual bug. Okay, my image just disappeared again. So let's try. one, crop image. Okay, seems to work now. Nice. So I can crop like this. Apply crop. Okay. Seems to work. Yeah, seems to work. So crop again. This. Apply. Okay. Refresh. Oh, if I refresh, the image is gone. And that's not good. So the one bug after another bug. I cannot catch a break. Cannot catch a break. Okay, so let's call this work in progress. Cropping work in progress. Just to see what Codex actually changes, right? I want to track like what's the bug. Like, is it one line change or a few lines, so that I can see what's the problem. Okay, so the cropping works now, but after I refresh, the entire image is gone. I can still see them on the sidebar, but they don't render. Okay, I think this is good enough for it to fix the bug. Now we have 3 prompts, 4 prompts, 5 prompts. I already lost count. How many prompts? 5 prompts. 2 bugs, I guess. Yeah, 2 bugs or 3. The scale one, the disappear one, and then the refresh disappear one. So 3 bugs. Yeah, not going very well for this task. Hasn't made any changes yet. Okay, so let's see how many tokens we're using right now. I think it should be around 100k tokens now for the input for each message. So that's gonna become very expensive very quickly. Okay, 75k. Okay, still not bad. Still not as bad as I imagined. Okay, so it's actually very token efficient. So GPT-5 is actually token efficient. I would expect it to go over like 100 tokens already, but it's still at 75k. And that's good to know. In terms of cost, 1.6. So that's 30 more cents. 30 more cents spent. I think once the model come up with the plan, the editing part is very fast. Yeah, it's just spend a lot of time thinking and then suddenly everything is done. So, but I think that's the characteristics of GPT-5 High inside Codex. Now I'm just thinking, right? If Codex works well inside cursor, then what's the point of cursor, right? Apart from the tab auto completion, like everyone is just gonna run Codex inside cursor, and then might as well just uninstall cursor and just use VS Code, right? Kind of bad for cursor. Like imagine if Codex has auto complete, then yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna make a prediction. Here. I'm gonna add it to the YouTube timestamp. I think OpenAI is gonna acquire cursor eventually, like within 6 months or a year. Yeah, I think so. That's like there's no path forward for cursor, right? Codex is already so good inside cursor, and there's no reason to pay for cursor except for autocomplete. But like nobody needs autocomplete anymore. I think might as well just acquire a cursor and then just make it like Codex IDE or something. Yeah, I think that's the only way forward for cursor. Yeah, this is gonna be my prediction for cursor after trying out Codex inside cursor. And I have a script to generate timestamps from the transcript, so this should be part of the timestamp. I'm just talking to the model that reads the transcript. Okay, so okay, so let's see if it fixes the issue. Okay, so looks like my image was restored. Okay, so I'm still inside the cropping mode. Wait, there are two. Okay, so let me delete one of them and then crop this. Apply. Refresh. Okay, so now it's saved. Let me try one more image. Okay, so export project, delete them, refresh, import, see if the persistence works, right? So, oh wait, I can't. What is this? No, I can't believe this actually failed. Okay. Okay, so we have our false bug. Okay, it's just bugs after bugs, right? That's crazy. Okay, so this time I'm just gonna copy paste the bug into it. Okay. After exporting and importing, and error during importing. So this is the last step. I import another one. Okay, this one works. Okay, this is very long reasoning effort. I'm not gonna even try to read it. At least the throughput is quite fast. I can see it making progress quite fast. Yeah, definitely the different experience than Cloud Code. I think I might give it more tries during the week and then compare it with Cloud Code. I think it's definitely on par now with Cloud Code. Definitely on par. Not sure how expensive or how better it is. It definitely looks like a competitor to Cloud Code. Okay, let's see the bug fix it made. Okay, so basically some defensive coding techniques. I'm just like doing completely vibe coding. I'm not even like trying to understand what this code is doing. So it's like giving into the model. Let's see, finish working. It's because we tried to draw before the underlying image was ready. Okay. Okay, let's see if it's actually fixed. Oh. Oh, I still failed. It still failed. That's crazy. We didn't actually fix the bug. Yeah, this is quite bad, right? It's like I think it's not able to identify why the bug happens. And let me try a working project to see if it's just a corrupted file, right? So I have a new working one, and then I'm gonna drop it here. Okay. Okay, I'm then gonna export and import it. Yeah, it still doesn't work, so it's definitely something is wrong. I think it might be related to the previous feature, but I think I tried the previous feature, import and export, it works, right? Yeah, I don't think it's a previous feature. Okay, so let's see. Transient outline cache leaking into our export JSON. A pass to draw image during the thing. Okay. Okay, but aren't those needed for drawing the outline? I'm not too sure. So let's try again. Okay, so now it works. Let me delete everything and then import again. Okay, does this still work? Okay, so it still works. Okay, that's good to know. I thought it's gonna break the outline feature. And if we crop this, okay, so it still saves the original image even. That's pretty nice. So let's try 2 more images. Just to see if we have some new bugs. Oh, okay, so now we can, oh, I didn't know we can drag the image like that. Okay, so that's a good feature to have. I didn't know they added this feature, so we can drag the image. Okay, so now it's more intuitive. So if I export this and delete all of this, import again. Okay, so everything's still there. Okay, so now finally it works. After how many bugs? Like 4 bugs or 5 bugs? I already lost count. So finally it worked. So this definitely took longer than expected. So this is gonna be cropping, right? Cropping on canvas directly. Yeah. So finally we got it working. So yeah. We took 5 prompts and 4 to 5 bugs, I think, to get the task query working. So yeah, definitely longer than I expected. I think it shows some weakness for GPT-5 High. Yeah. So the first 2 tasks were, so here's a summary, right? I think the user experience and UI is pretty polished. I think on par with Cursor or even better, I think. Then in terms of performance, we tried 3 tasks. So the first 2 tasks were complete success, works with just 1 prompt. And I consider them to be like medium to challenging tasks actually. So it did pretty well on the first 2 tasks. But for the third task, it didn't work well. Like there are a lot of bugs and took 5 different prompts to fix it. So that's not very good. Eventually it's working, and it has some nice touch to it, and it's pretty intuitive. So I think the eventual outcome is good, but it just took very long to do it. In terms of the cost, I think it's slightly more than what's shown here because I have the free credits. So it's $2. I think it's gonna be slightly higher than $2. So I spent about 1 hour and 30 minutes. So that's about $2 per hour. I think that's roughly about it. Yeah. Okay. I think that's the end of the stream. Yeah. Thank you all for watching, and I'll be doing more testing on the newer models as they come out. So yeah, do subscribe, and join the next stream. Yeah. Thank you everyone for watching. Bye.